everyone doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Nice.
Breaking everything we can, but pretty good.
Nice. Always. That's great to hear. Yeah, we've been working on a lot of cool stuff this week, so I've got plenty of waffle material. Although I feel like I've been talking about it all a lot lately, right? So I'm just going to be rehashing a lot of the shit that we've already said, but I'll give you an
We just
update
can't wait
at
to
least
see it.
anyway. Yeah, that's it, right? I think we're going to try and pull a lot of different things together, and there's going to be, in fact, 15th of October. That is the provisional launch date. Oh, I notice my fingers are messed up. Interesting. Um, yeah, 15th of October, right? That's the provisional date that we're working towards right now that Banter will come out of beta, come out of early access. We'll have a whole new menu. The menu may land before then, but if it does, then we'll have a menu V2. And there's lots of crazy stuff that we've been getting up to this week. But rather than me jump right into the waffle, why don't I give somebody a chance if they'd like to ask a question to go ahead and make your way up to the podium. And we can jump right in. Go ahead, Iron Wolf. What can I
Yeah,
do you for?
hello. Okay, this is nothing we need to have, but it's nice to have in the voice distance meter.
Voice distance meter?
Yeah, the voice, what is it called? Voice distance?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The slider. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. So, is it possible to get like how many meters away it is, or is it just you have to know?
So would you like to be able to see that as like a display? Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
Somewhere
or a
in the
number when
app it
you
shows
slide
you?
it back and forth or something like that.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I guess in the new UI, if we're going to use a slider, we could just have a little tooltip or indicator on the slider as to what value you're currently setting it to. Yeah, we can definitely add that in.
And now to the second part of my question is, I don't know how to explain this so well, so keep with me a little bit. So
Okay.
if I choose to go like for 50% on that slider for a voice distance,
Yes.
everything outside of that distance is totally shut off, right? So what if you had
Yeah.
So what if you had a second slider where you can choose to let some noise in?
Some noise, like noise from other people's voices?
Yeah, so you have the slider where I can choose like 2 meters, for example, but I still want to hear people around me a little bit, so I can choose a
Gotcha.
second meter to just adjust that a little bit.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean it sounds like maybe there could be a better way to achieve that. And I don't know, maybe two sliders might be confusing really as to what you're trying to do. I know that basically what it's doing is affecting the roll-off on each and every person's audio source, right? So the roll-off effectively compresses, if you will, and eventually it becomes just a it becomes just a no roll off at all almost, right? You hear them and then they immediately drop off at a certain
Yeah,
point.
exactly. So
And that's what
second slider where
yeah. Well that's kind of like I say, how it works currently. And I understand what you're asking for, but it might be very complicated to implement, and I don't know if it's simple enough for an end user to be able
yeah,
to
sorry, my game
understand.
froze.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was just saying there that that could be extremely complicated to implement, and I'm not sure if it really provides all that much extra value for the user, and that maybe there's a better way for us to just adjust the roll off so that there's always a tiny amount of volume from the background and build that in, right? Having a dynamic slider for two of them both affecting the same roll off at the same time, it could get really complex, and when it gets complex, it's no longer easy to understand or easy to be able to know where you are, right? People will be still hearing sounds even though they're outside of the range that they want, might not understand how that works. and we can't just shove a slider in every time. we want to try and fix a problem. But no, maybe we can add something, like I say, that just has a very low volume background for everybody potentially, right? And I'm not sure. Maybe there's a way for us to toggle that on and off. Might be much easier than to have
Yeah.
a secondary slider with another distance range, if you get me.
Yeah. Yep.
That might be better.
Just an idea, of course.
Cool.
Thank you, Shane.
Cool. Appreciate it. Yeah, so what I didn't mention, and I'll mention it for the stream and for everyone else, the website behind me is our new documentation, but really you should join our Discord, right? I'm pretty sure everybody here is probably in our Discord, but I'll just say it anyway for the stream. The Discord is a great place to get info, to talk to me, to talk to other creators, to talk to other people on the SideQuest team about anything to do with Banter, but particularly about how to create spaces and how to create avatars, right? That's certainly been a hot topic for the last little while. So yeah, definitely join the Discord. That's probably the most valuable tip I can give anybody, right? But yeah, let me just open the floor up again. If anybody wants to jump in and ask a question, feel free to make your way up onto the podium, and I'll be happy to answer it for you. And maybe I'll give it a 10 seconds to see if anybody wants to ask a question. And yeah, if you do, I'll answer it. But maybe somebody wants to know what the F is going on with Aline's avatar over there. That could be a question that people might ask. I don't know. I'll also say that we're going to announce the member of the month at this week's Space Makers. So stay tuned for that. We'll do like we usually do. I'll ask Faye to come up and tell us all who that is around the end of the event. So yeah, stay tuned for that. But yeah, in the meantime, let me bestow upon you some of my waffle. So, first of all, apologies. I'm not my usual chipper self because I do have a little tinge of a hangover, but I'm okay. Everything is fine. The world isn't on fire, so that's great. But yeah, I'm not the best Irish person. I don't drink that often, and when I do, I yeah, can't handle the hangovers. Anyway, the stuff that we've been working on this week mostly has centered around a new network synchronization system primarily for the avatars, right? So we've been doing a lot of work on that. Currently, what we use right now in here, all of us together, we're communicating through a platform called Photon, right? If anybody's familiar with that. It bundles up all of the information about your avatars, where your hands and your head and all that is, your voice, all of that is transmitted through this network synced objects, right? All of that goes through Photon currently. So we've been working internally on a brand new network system, a custom network system, in fact, that will be designed to open up more possibility for us to be able to support more features in future. And it's been going pretty well, honestly. We're going to start kick things off tomorrow morning, first thing, with some large scale testing again in our QA teams after we've made some significant changes and improvements, especially over the weekend. And yeah, but so far it is looking pretty good. We just need to resolve one or two issues with the consistency of data transmission and how how stable we want that to be, so that there's no stutter or anything in your avatar's movement, right? That's kind of the last thing that we're wanting to solve. But already we've got a system that will synchronize the bones of your avatar. It will synchronize your visemes. So I don't know if any of you have noticed, but we introduced visemes so that you've got better expression on the mouth. But once a certain number of people enter the room, it will actually turn all of it off, right? Because it takes a lot of processing power to process that for each and every different person in the room. So what we've done with this new system is we synchronize that information instead of doing the calculations on your client. So that means that if we have 19 people in the room like we do now, instead of having to run 19 different OVR lip sync instances to keep all that going, we just have one, which is your own one. And then we sync that information to everybody else. So the immediate benefit that will bring is that lip sync will no longer turn off when we've got 10 people in the room. It will just work, and it will be much more performant than it is right now.
Nice.
So that's great. Uh, we've also introduced 6 user blend shape channels, names, whatever you want to call them, as part of this new sync system. So those will maybe serve as the basis for our initial custom lip sync. Hey Lisa, how you doing? That looks festive. I see you're having fun with leg rigging.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's a bit worrying, isn't it?
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
I like
I
it.
set myself a
like it.
challenge. I thought in between Banter highlights and here, I've got half an hour to create something totally from scratch in Blender. And this is what I got.
Wow,
I
Nice.
love it.
it's amazing.
It's great. It's great.
It is alien
The
at the
fingers
minimum.
work at least.
The fingers do
Yeah.
work. They
No,
definitely
it's
thing.
not alien at all. It's a forest ghost.
It's a forest ghost.
Oh man, there was
I
legs.
see.
It's
Yeah,
Kodama.
There
it's
you go.
from Princess
Totally normal.
Mononoke. You have to see that
Oh.
movie.
Oh, your avatar. Ah, okay. I see what's going on with that. I understand that. Yeah, that's cool. Nice one. 30-minute avatar. That's great. Well, I'm sure
Actually,
you'll figure out those
Lisa,
legs.
I have little figurines of the little guys you have on my shelf,
Yep.
straight
Put it
in
away.
front of me.
Really?
Nice.
And they even glow in the dark.
Oh, brilliant.
Nice. That's great. And did you just make that and it just happened to be the same as that? Or did you base yours on the same thing?
No,
Lisa.
it's not based on anything. It's not based on anything. It was literally just a few vertices extruded, apply the skin modifier, and make an avatar out of it. Literally,
That's
like
crazy.
the quickest way I could possibly
oh, wow.
do it.
It looks exactly like the little. The little
Princess
You've got to take a
Mononoke.
picture. You've got to take a picture and put it into the Discord now. We've got to see this. um yeah, anyway, so I mean, as I was saying before, basically this week we've had pretty good success with trying to build out our completely custom network solution that will most importantly be able to support body tracking, but also finger tracking and some kind of custom blend shapes, right? That's what we're going to be able to have with this new networking system, which is honestly great. Sorry, Divine, go ahead. What can I do you for?
Hi there. I have a question about the camera. I was wondering, you know how you have to basically take one of your hands and kind of click the little circle to take the picture? I was
Yes.
wondering if there was any way we can make it so the picture or the hand that is holding the camera, if we can just click the trigger and have that take the picture instead. Is there any way we can get that, or is it different kind of programming to get that to be done?
That is a good question. I'm
Because it's
honestly
sometimes so
not
difficult
sure.
to take the picture. Like you have
Yes.
to like go around and you have to actually use one of your hands to click the circle. So then in the picture you're going to be making this, hand suggestion. Like so every
Yes.
picture we have like this pointing basically with one of our hands, and it's most likely the
Yeah.
right one. So, but like if we could actually take the picture with the hand that we have the camera in, and just like by
Sure.
clicking a button or something, that would be so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, on the face of it, I know that, for instance, for 2D mode, there's a good likelihood that we could add something that would let you take the picture with a key on the keyboard, for instance. But thinking about it right
Yeah.
now, the existing selfie camera that you guys are familiar with is built before our new SDK ever existed. So it only uses
Okay.
old SDK scripts, which means that
Oh.
to some degree, it is legacy. and that's kind of the way to think of it. And there is unfortunately no way with those scripts to be able to access the buttons on the controller,
Okay, gotcha.
which makes that trickier, right? All you can access is a
Yeah.
click event for objects, but and that's why obviously clicking the button to take the picture is
Okay,
required.
gotcha.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think this is
Yeah.
maybe good feedback for the next version of the selfie camera that we'll probably
Awesome.
want to build. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the current one will likely maybe include that somewhere in the main menu when the new menu lands, but at some point we'll then replace that with an entirely new one, either built with visual scripting or built with JavaScript or a combination of the two. Who knows, right? And
Awesome.
I guess
Yeah.
yeah, there's a few things in transit, right, right now that are kind of legacy in some regards, or need to be upgraded or need to be rebuilt, let's say, to work with the new SDK. For instance, the video player, right? The existing video player, it heavily depends on A-frame. The new SDK doesn't require A-frame, so it makes more sense to have a video player that can work without A-frame. So that's something that needs to be transitioned and is something that we're
Yeah,
working on
that's
behind the scenes.
awesome. That
Same
is
for
awesome.
Same for
Yeah.
the selfie cam, right? I think it's going to become selfie cam SDK v2 version, and I would
Awesome.
say,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we can improve on how that works. Maybe we can take your suggestion on board, or maybe there's a better way to do it separately from that. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's definitely a good point. Maybe we can make that simpler, right? That's definitely what we want to do with that. But
If
yeah,
you
I
want to
think
take it
for
to
the
the
selfie
next
cam,
level, you can kind of like just make it something that we pull down in front of us and just have it sit there and we just take the picture just by standing in front of it. It goes like for a
yeah,
5 second timer and then
yeah,
it takes the picture. Like
5 second timer
I've
makes a
got
lot of
like
sense.
ideas in my head like crazy. You just
Yeah.
sit there.
Um,
Sorry, I'm a little bit high. Anyways,
Oh boy.
I'm gonna shut up now because yeah, you answered the question. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
I
Go ahead,
think
Aline. You were
there
going
is
to say something?
somewhere we already have a 5 second timer on the selfie cam, but since it's in an asset bundle, every space has to be getting an update with the new link, which I haven't done yet because I haven't found all the spaces, and I think I only did it as a test. That's actually good that you mentioned it because then I'll look into it tomorrow
Yeah.
maybe to just update the selfie cam in every space. The problem is just that this asset bundle contains so much things. It's also all the screen setups, and yeah, chances are high that I could break something in other spaces. So I try to not do this. I was really hoping that we can wait until the new menu and then just have the selfie cam directly integrated that you can spawn it in
Yes.
every space. And then also we can add more advanced functionality to it. Like, as you said, when you're holding it, then you can just press the trigger to take a picture or have a timer, all those kind of things. So yeah, you have to wait a little bit more until, yeah, we got the new menu. And yeah, that's probably something we were looking forward for the 1.0 release. I think that should be reasonable. But yeah, I see that I get at least the timer out before that.
Yeah.
So that's before the 15th?
Yeah. I would say so.
Thank
Sounds
you.
like Aline's talking about maybe having it out tomorrow, at least in some spaces,
wow.
right? Yeah. Yeah, put the timer at least, right?
Basic one with the 5 seconds timer option.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's I guess it's worth noting. It's kind of a bit of a problem, I guess, we're dealing with on the platform, right? Is that things like glitch and the concept of remixing and stuff like that can mean that so many different things can end up in so many different places, and you can have different versions of things happening all the time. Like the asset bundles that Aline is referring to, if somebody uses those in her space, but then she updates them, then the updates aren't caught, and people end up with totally different versions of things, which is tricky. And then when you're trying to bundle everything in together, and you potentially have updated other elements in the same one, and rightly, as Aline says, that can cause things to potentially break in unexpected ways. So yeah, it's definitely a tricky one. The same thing is kind of the case with the video player that we have, right? There's, I think, 3 versions of it going around at any one time, depending on which space it is, and it's just because so many spaces have been remixed and they've got the old versions still in there and they're still linked, and thankfully they still work for the most part, assuming glitch hasn't fallen over. But yeah, that's kind of a tricky problem. In the case of the I think in the case of the selfie cam, the right solution there is just to have it integrated into the menu. So there's just a single place to get it and it's always updated there and you've always got the latest version in every space, right? So that's going to be probably the best solution for that. But on other things, honestly, we probably need to just figure out a workflow to be able to centralize things. I mean, to some degree we have that, but I believe the sort of cavalier remixing that we were doing in the early days has this unintended negative effect as well. And yeah, I don't know. Obviously, with the new system, there isn't as much of an option to kind of remix things. It's more copy and paste code. So maybe in those cases, there'll be less of this, right? Less duplicate versions of everything created, less things out of date in general. Um, but also some things that we do, right, like I've done with let's say the video player or the announcer, is that it's centrally located somewhere and you just add a script into your space. That can work really well, assuming that there is no remixes of it, because then you can just update it in one place and everybody gets the same one. I mean, maybe for the kit bundles or something like that, Aline, maybe we need to figure out a way to have a persistent URL that doesn't change even if the underlying kit bundle has been updated. And that way you can have that URL in every space and then you update the underlying one and it's applied to everybody at once. Maybe that's something we
Yeah.
can do to try
Yeah,
and help with that.
that has just the problem that when you have a kit bundle with a lot of kit items and it's enough you to just forget a single one, that this will break every space that was using it because they won't
Yes,
load anymore. And that's really dangerous.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, we'll figure this out. I know somebody was behind the scenes talking about trying to make a world builder that leveraged kit bundles and being able to bring in kits and use them in your spaces and place objects around and that kind of thing. I mean, what's great about that is that that would absolutely centralize all of the kits and you could have a way to retrieve the kits that doesn't use the direct URL, the URL that changes, for instance. There could be another way to get access to that, to grab the current links and then load those instead. So yeah, I mean that would be a nice solution, I think, to that as well, right? You just have a big repository, like a big marketplace of kit bundles and packs and stuff like that, and then if it's updated, it can just update everywhere at once. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if there really is a way to get away from the risk and the danger that Aline describes there, is because you can kind of end up with an object that a lot of people depend on, and if you just do one thing to break that, yeah, it can go to hell. Like whatever the name of that company was that devastated Microsoft's driver updates a month ago. What was it, CrowdStrike or something? It's the most
Yep.
unmemorable name. I think that's it. Is it CrowdStrike?
Yep.
It's just,
I
it
think
just
so.
doesn't. I can't. Yeah, I remembered it eventually, right? But it just never comes to mind. I don't know what it is, but everybody knows them now, I guess. And yeah, yeah, right. Uh, definitely strange, but yeah, bottom line, you wouldn't want, or in the case of, we've seen this in the past, let's say on other platforms too, where maybe somebody decides, oh, everybody depends on my kits for their worlds, I'll just delete those and devastate many people's worlds all at once, right? And I think, a solution that has a marketplace like that maybe could have some kind of protection against those kinds of upstream attacks, right? Because that's basically what that is. You see that occasionally in software development as well, where you've got modules or packages, right? Extra third-party things you can pull into your project to be able to use. And in some cases, some developers have used their very popular package as a means to, to try and break things or protest things. Uh, there was a lot of them, for instance, that did it around the Ukraine war, let's say. And yeah, I mean, it's good to share your views, and I think I certainly support uh, what uh, you know I'm on side Ukraine for sure, but at the same time, some of these things were causing serious damage. Some of them were spewing garbage out to the command line for hours and hours just to kind of protest, right, basically. And that can be quite damaging. Or in some cases, some developers, maybe they have a disagreement with the marketplace that hosts all of these modules, and then they'll purposefully upload like an empty version of their plugin, right? And that will break anybody who gets that update. They'll get an empty, broken version. We've seen that in a few cases. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I think whatever this marketplace should be, it maybe should have something built in that can protect against that. So that if somebody deletes a kit, anybody that's used it still has access to it, but anybody new can't get access to it. Something along those lines, right? So that it doesn't end up devastating large swaths of people's worlds. We saw that a lot on Altspace, God rest its soul. But yeah, yeah, that was a lot of waffle about that. Yeah, so what's interesting, just to completely pivot into a totally different topic with no context, the stuff that we have been working on, which is related to the avatar syncing and the networking and all that kind of stuff, that has been going really well. Just yesterday, I created a version of Banter that didn't use any Photon whatsoever, not one Photon-based script executing anywhere in the hierarchy. That means it's an entirely fully custom network system from the ground up with nothing else on top. Now, what's honestly exciting about that is that it's been the first stage where we've been able to fully remove a third party's um, yeah, remove all the extra scripts and all the extra load and everything that's going on with that. And honestly, there's quite a lot, because it's transmitting all of the voice and stuff like that as well. It's doing encoding, decoding for each and every person's voice. Now we're doing that ourselves too, but because we've been able to build in this bespoke system, we've been able to optimize that path and make it so that we can get as much into that as possible. And now removing them is just another chunk of performance that we can take advantage of ourselves. And assuming that we do it right, there should be some headroom left over after we're done, right? What we put out should hopefully be more performant than what we've been using already. That's the hope, right? We'll see where that ends up. But yeah, it's really exciting, because now I think it's the right time for us to start to integrate the new physics-based character controller system that we've been working on. Because this new networking system is going to enable body tracking. The new character controller system has kind of grown now to also include the full body pose, right? The rigging, the inverse kinematics, the animation, and everything that drives your legs when you're walking around. And honestly, it looks great. I don't know if anybody, some of you might have seen it. I've been teasing some videos here and there in the Discord. But yeah, overall, you don't get this kind of shuffle, right, where your legs are going crazy. There's a lot more foot placement stuff going on in close quarters that makes it look great, way more natural. And yeah, I think what we want to do is to build in full body tracking into the new system, into the new inputs, the new character controller, the new full body pose, and have all of that kind of work together with full body tracking. So having this network solution built out is step one and kind of what we need before we can go any further. So yeah, it's great to be in this position because it means that from next week onwards, we're going to start integrating that character controller. Now, I've actually said in the past a few times that we would hope to have both the new and the old character controller in the game at once. I'm hoping that might still be the case, but it looks like now, just depending on a few other things, as to whether or not that makes the most sense, right? If it is something we can pull off, it's definitely something we want to do. But I just wanted to put it out there that we may not exactly have that opportunity, depending on how a couple of these features end up landing, bundled or whatever together at the same time, because there's a few of them that now depend on each other, and it may have an impact on the old system, and we might have to do a lot of work to have those both work at the same time. So if that work is better spent on making the new system better, making it work better, that might be something that we end up prioritizing. So just a heads up for that. But what it means is that you might actually just get the new character controller into the build as part of a new feature update sooner, right? Which is going to be great. There's no doubt in my mind that you guys are going to love it, and you're going to think that it's a significant improvement even compared to what we've got at the minute. So, yeah, double jumping, right? That might not be a thing in future. Who knows? Might not be possible to double jump. What are you guys going to do? Is everybody going to revolt? Start start all sorts of demonstrations about how bring us back to our double jumping. That's right.
It's paid feature.
Uh, it is a great feature.
Paid
Great.
feature. I'd
It
pay
is a
for
great
it.
feature. You pay for it? Well, maybe we can do that, right? Maybe we can
I'd
let
pay
you
for it.
double jump if you want to pay for it, right? That is $48.99 for the first month, and then $19.99 for the next 48 months, and then that's just for the double jump. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what other packages we can bundle together in that and add more value, right? Double jump package, the rope collar package, the uh, my fingers aren't weird package, right? There's lots of different things we can do here. So uh, things don't go to shit when I'm trying to run an event, right? That's a great package, and I think that's going to be really popular. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, I know that there's been a few issues, right, that have kind of hung around recently. The hope is that with what we're building, we'll be able to greatly simplify all of the parts that are in the application. I remember in the old days uh, on AltSpace, it was something that I think it was a brag really more than anything else. But usually at their town hall events or at other events, one of the things they would say is that their Unity project for the game was probably one of the most complicated out there, right? And I kind of feel like it's probably the opposite of that you want to try and aim for, because a very, very complicated thing is inherently more temperamental, right? There's more going on, therefore there's more that can go wrong, therefore more will go wrong in general, right? And that's not saying anything about AltSpace. I actually think they were in a pretty stable position by the end. In fact, they had a lot of work done to get there and finally, eventually, give everybody the things that they wanted. But yeah, I think for us internally, simplifying things, carving out huge swaths of tech debt, making things into one, right? We've got two networking systems that work right now in tandem, because we've got Photon that powers all of our group collective audio and transform sync in the room. But the moment I megaphone somebody, then we're actually running that voice and transform through our own infrastructure, and both of those are actually working together. Now, if you can imagine, that makes it incredibly complicated to be able to manage both of those, and some things get really tricky, like how do you manage blocking and muting, and which of the two services is the authority on that, and is there any security holes there that somebody may be able to tap in and get access to things like your audio feed, even if you've been blocked or muted. These all become really difficult things to solve, and we've had to solve them, which has resulted in a more complicated code base, more complicated code paths than ideally we would like. But the truth is, when we simplify all of that and it becomes everything is under our own servers, our own authority that has access to, you know, your user record, you know, it has access to who's your friends, who's blocked you, who you've blocked, all that stuff. And we can do it at the server then eventually, right? We can actually just stop sending the data to you or to the room for people that you've blocked or that have blocked you. And in that case, then it becomes much harder, right, for anybody to potentially try and abuse or take advantage of that system. So nobody do that between now and when we implement the new networking system. I'm watching you guys. But technically it's possible, right? I'm not gonna sit here and pull the wool over your eyes. Because we've got these two systems, it's a split brain scenario where one can't know for sure what is the right state because it can't make those decisions on its own. It has to rely on the other one. And yeah, I mean, every stage of the process, even joining a space, involves joining and connecting to one on our own infrastructure, then waiting for that to be established and set up, and then joining the photon based space and having all of that and waiting for all of that to be set up. And yeah, it all just kind of generally works in tandem right now. But as some of you may have noticed, it also introduces uh, a certain temperamental nature to what we're doing, right? Which results in bugs. Bugs that can be really tough to find and track down and reproduce, which is honestly 99% of the work when it comes to trying to fix things. If you can just make it happen in an isolated example and do that over and over, that's it. Its days are numbered. At that point, it's only a matter of time before you'll be able to get that fixed. And that part of the process is usually pretty quick at that point, right? Once you can identify it. So yeah, in all, the hope is that this new system will inherently solve some of the issues that we've already got because we're building it from the ground up. We're scrapping all of the stuff that we have that's temperamental and complicated and bloated and bringing in something that's more lean, that's simpler, that makes more sense. And yeah, hopefully that will just generally mean less bugs, right? Less things can go wrong, less things involved in general in the whole process. So that is going to be one of the best benefits, I think, of this new networking system is just how much of that tech debt we'll be able to just carve out of this whole process. Yes, so no other questions. I'm unsure of what I'm going to waffle about next. So maybe I'll just pick somebody at random, like the person who just entered the room. How are you doing there, Rock Viper? Can you tell us what did you have for breakfast this morning?
Nothing actually.
Nothing. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You have to have something, even if it's breakfast of champions. Like a glass of wine.
Had an early lunch.
Gotcha. Nice. Brunch it up. Well, thanks for that, Rock. I appreciate that. Also, welcome to the event. If you have any questions about space making or honestly anything at all, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Generally, you've got to get up on this podium, but it's a joke podium because it's bouncy and slippery and you'll fall off. And if you fall off, that's it. You go into timeout for 15 minutes and then join the end of the queue. But then people don't join the queue because they know that if they don't, I'm going to waffle. And people just like to see me waffle. I don't know. It's probably more about just seeing me up here squirming than it is about wanting to listen to what I'm saying, right? Because I'm sure I'm repeating myself a lot. And yeah, here we go. This is it. This is me just waffling, you guys. But yeah, let me see. What other stuff can I talk about that's going to be interesting? Yeah, maybe something worth noting, right? So some of you may have been at a previous Space Makers where I talked about a new mirror system that we were working on and that we've kind of introduced, but there are some problems with it, right? Some people have been testing, which is great, and helping to understand what are the best settings to get a good balance of performance, and to try and eliminate some of the weird quirks that it's got. But we have discovered that there is an issue with it that involves basically your avatar camera position isn't being interpreted correctly, so it makes you kind of look like you're moving up and down, or that you're off the ground, or that you're higher than you are in the mirror. Aline discovered that it actually doesn't occur with the guest avatar, so there must be something that's going on in the main avatar that's causing that. So yeah, once we can find a window of time here amongst all of the crazy things we're doing, we'll definitely be looking to get that fixed. Because honestly, that mirror implementation is great, and you can do a whole 2K mirror, fully stereo correct and everything, and performance is pretty good generally, compared to some other mirror implementations out there that we've tried and worked with, as well as anything else like a real-time reflection probe or something like that. It's way more performant than that. Go ahead, Dead Zed.
Hopefully I don't fucking slide. So you've obviously talked about the network synced for the avatar system. Do we have a network synced object
Yes, Raptor,
update?
talk to me on Discord.
Yes. So this will also be replacing the current network synced objects that we've got as well. Those will then go through our own infrastructure too. So that's actually probably going to be the cherry on the cake once we've got this whole thing established and tested and scale tested and battle tested and smoke tested and unit tested and integration tested. Do you know how many types of tests there are? Crazy. But once we've got that stable, and that's I think that's a big deal, especially in this run up to the launch. Then yeah, getting network synced objects on top of that will be a lot simpler. And already we've been talking about some of the blockers and problems that make them so complex right now, that introduce all of the weirdness and the bugs, right? And I'm confident that we're going to be able to create network synced objects that are much simpler than that and that don't have those problems. So yeah, definitely going to fix that up and get those fixed in the same breath.
All right, thank you, Shane.
Cheers, Dead Zed.
Oh, I have a
Yeah.
little surprise, maybe I can add.
Ooh, surprise.
Yeah. Maybe it's a little bit too early for that, but Christmas
Do it.
is early this year. So with the next update that comes then with menu and everything, we probably talked about it already. So we are updating the Unity version. So we're going up to version 2022. And this opens a new feature. So if you still didn't want to pay for for Amplify Shader Editor, yes, Shader Graph will be supported in the next version. So you can use any shader graph you find online, as long as it supports built-in render pipeline. Make sure that you can easily convert shader graph shaders for different render pipelines. This is nice, but at least for me personally, the biggest benefit, there are just a million tutorials on YouTube about shader graph. So it's so much easier to learn and adopt compared to Amplify. Amplify really just wants you to learn it on your own, and that's nice, but also annoying if you just want a quick effect and you're getting completely confused how complicated math functions are working. So yeah, I'm super excited for this one, because then
Yes.
we see a lot more advanced shaders that are way simpler to recreate.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
Right. And I think one of the best things about that is just having choice. If you want to use Amplify, go for it. If you want to write your own high level shader language, go for it. If you want to use shader graph, go for it. And then you can use all of those things, right? And all of those things are existing things that are already out there, that already have massive community, that already have enormous amounts of material and content created around them. So you've kind of got everything, right, that you could need. So yeah, shader graph, that's a big deal. We've tried to play with that a lot in the past, and on our current Unity version 2021, it simply just didn't work, particularly in asset bundles, right, which we use for spaces. We couldn't include shader graphs in there in any test that we tried. They just came through as that beautiful magenta you get whenever Unity doesn't know what the hell to do with a shader. So yeah, that's a great one. Honestly, that's a big deal. Exactly as Aline says, it just gives you more choice, more ability to use shaders that you find online, more ability to kind of share shaders as well, conveniently and easily, right? Because you can just share a shader graph file in the same way as you would share a normal file, right? And people can just pull that into their project and go ahead and use it. So that's going to be great. Nice one. Cheers for remembering that, Aline. So yeah, maybe in a moment I'll pass over to Faye, who can tell us who this month's member of the month is. Yeah, fun fact about this member of the month. They actually asked us in a DM to give someone else member of the month. I've just given it away, at least to that person. They know who you are. So not only does that add more credence to the fact that they've been selected as member of the month, but their suggestion carries more weight with us because they are member of the month. So that's great. Maybe Faye, you can shut me up and take over from
Absolutely.
there.
Okay, sure. Well, the person that is our member of the month probably already knows who they are, like Shane just said, because you sent us a DM. We're excited to give a shout out to Vanquisher for all of the awesome things he brings to our community.
Yes.
I was hoping it wasn't me.
It was you.
A lot of other
You
people
know.
are more deserving than I do, honestly.
Oh,
But
you
thank
be
you.
quiet.
Thank you.
Yes, be quiet, Vanquisher.
From
Wow, thank
crafting
you very
intricate
much.
spaces with cool features to making our virtual world even more fun, his creativity knows no bounds. But it's not just your amazing builds, Vanquisher. It's also that you're one of the friendliest and most helpful people around. Whether people need tips on building spaces or they just want a friendly chat, you're always there to lend a hand. So everybody, let's show Vanquisher some love here. Woo!
Oh, thank you very much.
Yay!
Really appreciate it.
Vanquisher,
Yep.
my friend.
Thank you. Really appreciate every single one of you guys.
We
Without you
appreciate
all,
you.
I
We
wouldn't do
appreciate
practically
you,
anything.
Vanquisher.
So thank you. Thank you.
Nice. We should do a whole thing, a whole ceremony where the previous member of the month does like a handover, and
Yeah.
one says to the other,
Aww.
"I relieve you," and the other says, "I stand relieved."
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Crown.
Hand over the crown, exactly. So yeah, Vanquisher, you can look forward to a special Discord role, which is exciting. It's one of the most amazing things you could ever ask for. I love a Discord role. But also, you'll have the great experience of just being called on at random to say random things at random events as the member of the month. That is our right,
Well,
that we can just randomly ask you to say things.
I'm
And
looking forward to that. Actually,
nice.
Firad was lucky he skipped out on all of that
You know what?
because he's
Firad,
usually not here.
he's in a different time zone, yeah, and at least for me
Yeah.
anyway. He doesn't. Yeah, I didn't get to.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
never got
so-
picked on.
He never got picked on, exactly. Or picked, right? It's not picked on, it's picked. Just picked.
Picked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was picked on. It was picked on a little bit. But that's it. It's your birthday, right? Birthday lumps. Isn't that what they call it?
There you go.
Cheers, Vanquisher. And
Thank you.
and thanks so much for all that you do.
Thank you.
It is really appreciated. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's see. We've got 10 minutes left. What do we want to do with the last 10 minutes? I don't know. Do we have anything, Aline, that we can show? Any other worlds that we can show?
Might not take 10 minutes, but can we take a picture?
Oh,
We could definitely
actually,
take a picture.
maybe we can. Wait, I think I have one.
Evans?
Maybe, but I was more for an old classic one from Patrick, actually, which I ported today.
Oh. Yeah, nice. I should maybe
Consensus
mention before we
Banter
jump in that we have a new content creator who's joined the team. So look forward to seeing more original created worlds and yeah, all sorts of crazy things. So stay tuned for that. Should we take a picture in the next world? I'm conscious that I'm talking and that this portal has a shelf life.
I don't know. That's up to you, man.
Let's take it in the next world. I think the
Nice.
Oh, so sad.
Where can we take a picture?
Oh my gosh, winter campfire.
Wow.
That's so cute.
This
Wow.
seems pretty familiar.
These are
I've never been
updated
here.
photos.
Oh my god.
You took new photos, Celine?
So cute.
Oh my god. You love
Ooh, I like this space. Why haven't I been here before? Y'all should hang out
The
here.
the ground is ice, guys. You can slide around.
Is it new? Is it new? This space
No, this
is new?
this is actually an old space.
This space
but I
is
think
so nice.
it got ported. Yeah, this is
Lorraine.
this was made by somebody called Patrick, who used to make a lot of spaces for us.
Yeah, what is this
And
supposed to be?
Oh.
Just a
it's a
Japanese
Zen garden.
Zen garden, I think.
Watch out behind you.
Supposed to make you feel calm.
Oh no!
Shayla,
Oh no!
There's
You feeling
an
it?
alien.
scary looking alien thing. Where should we take the picture at?
We need something with a good light
over here.
source.
Over here.
Find
Yeah,
good
that's what I
light.
was thinking.
Yes.
I don't
Something
think we
with
have
a
any
good
lights in
light.
here.
Maybe like up
This
here.
little house
Oh,
thing?
fix the legs.
Yeah.
Or is it
What's
when
up,
you sit
Shane?
down?
How you
We
doing?
can go up the
Oh,
stairs.
that's nice.
Yeah, they're still
Doing good.
broken when
How
I
you doing,
stand on
Magda?
my tiptoes.
I'm doing okay.
But at least I'm
Nice.
Work.
Where are we
Yeah, working.
standing?
We're back with you on the.
Okay, you want to go to the house? This is a special
Yeah,
house.
yeah. Like we can
Let's all
stack up
stand
on
in
the
front of the
stairs,
house.
kind of like
Well, you
meet
can
people on
brighten
each
it with
stair.
software
Oh,
programs.
we're
It'll be
doing a
alright.
front porch
Yeah.
Oh
photo?
my gosh, my baby's loud.
I kind of get up the stairs.
Yeah.
That's funny. Sounded like a bird.
Who's taking? Oh, okay. You're gonna take the picture, right? Oh, okay. Yeah. Totally forgot. You need to turn around, Barry. Oh wait, there's someone over there.
Quick.
They'll manage.
Run! Run!
That's it. All the
5,
pictures
4,
have been
3,
taken.
2, 1,
No
boom.
more pictures are allowed.
Oh man. TPK, I think you missed the picture, dude.
Oh. My
Picture of the century too. We should do this at every
Now-
event, right? We should always make it a
Yeah.
ceremony. Take a photo at the
Front
end of every
porch.
event.
Front
Totally
porch
do that.
photo.
All right, cool.
We need a banter calendar. Like real life banter calendar.
Is everybody still staying?
Oh, of like members? I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Are we
Like
needed
photos
the
on the
other
wall.
one?
Oh, Shoseki.
I think we're good.
Hey, don't
Come
tempt
on.
me. I'll
Uh,
do it.
Yeah, we know.
How much more naked can you get than bones?
Awesome picture.
Don't tempt me.
Oh no.
We've already got
Well,
one.
this is awesome. Nice work, Aline.
This is cool.
Yeah, this looks really good.
Oh, very
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Oh, it's a really good picture.
That's cool.
Wait, you don't
That
have a
was good
staff
picture.
roll? Damn.
Love it. Love it.
Looks like there's a couple of pillows missing here, but they still have their shadows.
Yeah. There's a
Someone's
thief.
pinched him. Yeah, they pinched him.
Somebody stole some pillows.
Are you in there, Pony?
I'm in the building. Yeah.
What's going on with
I'm
the
on the
legs?
knees of the building.
Realised
How you
I'm
doing?
skiing along and me feet, me legs are wide.
I'm ready for the photo shoot.
How
It's
are the
just so
legs like
zen.
that? I don't
Leave you
understand.
in there.
You want to leave me in here, do you, Pony?
Oh, they're crossed over.
Watch that.
You're
Put
not
close
prepared.
back on.
It's weird, isn't
No,
it? So
you're not my.
this is a Mixamo avatar. So maybe something with Derek is weird.
Hey,
Could be.
Because
he
it's
comes from
fine.
them, one is
It's
own
rigged
together.
correctly. So I first thought
Ew.
it swapped the sides, left
You
and
do,
right
don't
leg,
look
but no,
behind you.
it's all correct in Blender. So must be something on
Or
our
to
side.
the, now it's directly behind
Maybe
you. Don't
some bone rotations
look
or
behind
something
you.
are slightly awry.
No.
Not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure. I mean, the new
I mean,
system
it
just
only
basically
happens
takes the avatar
when
in
I.
and puts it straight
I tell you,
into.
don't look behind
the
you, and you
Unity
do it
retargeting.
anyways.
But show
Yeah,
Zaki
it's,
will
it's
look
only
behind.
when I
Retargeting
crouch, so it
surfer,
seems
man.
like it's a problem on
What
the
if I
IK.
said,
So I
look
say
behind you right
it's
now?
just a weird angle. The deep hole vector is just wrong.
Maybe.
Oh god.
Yes, maybe
That's
it's
the
like
point.
certain bones
The
or
best
something.
immersion ever.
The whole avatar goes like horizontal for
Static,
me.
you
My
ice
goodness.
skate,
When
but
I
I'll
I
go
put
can't
clothes on
see
now.
you.
When
Yeah,
it changes LOD.
yeah, Hubba does not ice skate.
Not
Uh,
me.
I literally feel like I should have a
That's just
skateboard
me,
under my feet right
nobody's
now. I'm in a
skating.
skate park.
We're all
Whoa.
just skating.
Yeah,
Oh,
it just
my
ends up
Static
in a
is
weird,
skating.
pose. Look at that one.
Yeah,
That's
put
a
a
great
skateboard on my
pose,
feet.
isn't it?
Ooh.
Well, listen, we've only got a couple minutes left. I
Only
don't know,
for
Aline,
Static.
do you wanna
He's in a
wanna
world
do
of his own.
Yeah.
a quick demo of the aquarium space too? That's okay.
We can do it.
If you want. You guys want to see
I
another
don't know,
space?
Faye. You wanna say
Yeah,
something
go
for
for it.
Space Hopper?
Aquarium?
Or...
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
aquarium.
Oh
Go for
yeah,
it.
let's go. Let's go now. The more people, the merrier. There's always different people who come to Space Hopper in this. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always do it on Space Hopper as well.
We'll
right?
do it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. This is an amazing space for anyone who hasn't seen it. Mhm.
Hey, so question. Avatar genius. Whenever, so I make so I've made my avatar.
Oh, are you putting the portal? You want me to put the portal?
We're all waiting.
I was
Where
like
is it?
looking at you. You were looking at me. This is fun. Okay, I can do it. I know exactly where it's at. Nautilus. Here we go.
Zing. The tank. You just need to jump on up out of there. That's cool. The event's basically over.
Looks like I have competition
If you
going
want to
on.
end the stream, feel
Everyone's
free.
very dark.
Yes, looks like they've got some.
Competition. Like I've literally.
They've got some whatever. What do you call it? Light probes.
There's so many.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's completely brand new.
I don't think it's in here.
Yep.
Cool. Sounds good.
Now
Yeah, you
I
want me
know
waffling away
there's none
in the background. Maybe, but also probably not. So I'm too hungover. Oh God. Yeah, this is like the big amphitheater, basically. God, you can really get a view of it from up there. Yes. I think the video screen will probably go up there, right? Gotcha. God, look at that thing out there. That's kind of crazy, isn't it? It looks like something from War of the Worlds. This big yoke over here. It's crazy, isn't it?
Oh no, warning, warning. We're losing pressure. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Bodie. Thousands, right? Oh, people are able to get out into the outside world. Did I just see somebody?
Yeah, you can teleport down.
Ah. God, this is crazy, right? Okay, guys, this has been Space Makers with a little bit of a detour at the end. Thank you so much. Please enjoy the big War of the Worlds looking people in the sky and enjoy the space. And we'll see you next week, same time. And yeah, you've got more events coming up, so stick around. You've got peer support and social anxiety groups and NeuroChat, as well as game night and the Banter Late Show later tonight as well. So lots of cool things on the agenda.